Hello, my good people. Thank you so much for being here. It's Tuesday. Yes, and we're doing Black Love Lens. I titled this Better Than a Woman. And you're going to have to stay tuned to explain. I'm particular to get for me to explain, to give the explanation for that. So you guys know the drill. Share this with a friend, have a seat, join the conversation, and let's get into it. This is Black Love Lens. I'm not having this conversation alone. So y'all know I am about to bring dating and relationship consultant Nyatu Marvel to the studio. Hi,
Hey.
Nyatu.
I'm so glad you said it was Tuesday. I was about to jump on here and say happy Wednesday to everybody. It's a terrific Tuesday. We a day early with Black Love Lens. How's your week been so far?
It's actually been really good. A mix of, I've been getting up early. I've been working out. I just got finished with a 2.5 day juice fast. I did break it today.
Okay.
I'm getting so much work done on Sassy Method. I'm just killing it. What about you?
Nice. It's been a good week. I'm at the 5 Mile still every day. I ate a whole small stuffed pizza Sunday night, and I weighed myself, and I'm right back where I was. So, okay.
Life is good. You're in Chicago. That's what y'all do.
Absolutely.
I am not mad at it. So, here we are today. I saw this video. I thought it was good. And it made me think. So I was like, does it make you think? I don't know. So you guys know I'm going to play this, watch the video, and we will share our take on it. Okay, let's go.
Women need someone better than them. Smarter than them, fitter than them, bigger than them, more inspiring than them, more successful than them. Otherwise, where's the attraction?
It's true.
I'm asking. Maybe some women don't mind, but I mind. I need to be inspired by the guy. Otherwise, I'll eat them for breakfast. I'll finish them off in 24 hours. I also need someone to handle me. And only an alpha or a double alpha can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
What did you think? Hey, SJ. I know, just had to switch it up a little bit. So before we get into it, I have been a hermit for pretty much 3 years. And if you know me, that is not like me at all. So Now I'm creeping outside just a little bit. And so tomorrow I'm going to go to a moon meditation, sound bath, yoga class at this super fancy spa. And I was like, I have to. So we had to switch this up. So I can start to go outside.
All right. Prioritizing your own self-care. I love it.
I'm glad you're available.
I'm actually interested to hear your take first this time. I usually dive on in, but I think that because it's a woman expressing herself and it resonated with you, I really love to hear your take on it.
Yeah, so I really loved it. And to be honest, I think the same way. I almost couldn't have said it better myself. And I really do feel that way. And, I didn't realize she said it in the clip, but you'll hear a lot of the times women will say, I need a man that can handle me. And then men will be like, nobody wants to hear all that mouth and argue with you. And to me, I'm thinking like, no. There's levels to this thing. So I love to be inspired by the man I'm dating. I actually am drawn to and almost look for men who are better than me. Because when you think about a level of leadership and partnership, like, why wouldn't you? I know what I bring to the table and all this and that, and that's cool. But when a man is, fit, I feel like he could teach me something. When he's business savvy, I get excited to learn something new. I've dated men in tech, and then they share things with me and my mind's blown. And I'm like, oh my God, and it genuinely excites me. I feel like, and maybe it's not all women. I know there's women in the chat, so y'all can chime in if I'm off or whatever you think. But that level of adoration adds to me. Like, I feel like men are visual and we get all that, but for me, it's just like, those are the type of things that gets me going. Those are the things that make me fall in love. My admiration, my like, he's better. He just does these things better than me, and I love that. That's the best way I could explain it. There's it's something tangible that makes me, you know, that adds to the sexual attraction, the desire to want to stay partnered and learn. Because I've also dated the opposite, where it's like, when I say, can you handle me? Like, I think big, I have big ideas, I do a lot of different things, I'm a personality all of my own. There's a lot going on here. So if you're the type of guy who's like not into it, doesn't really have much conversation, you don't like to, there's just certain things where it's just, it doesn't get me going.
All right. I think all of that is legitimate. Some people, when they see somebody express what they want, they try to decide whether or not it's realistic or appropriate, or sometimes because they don't need it, they feel some type of way. I put no limits on people's dreams. Like, I'm not a dream killer. Whatever you say you want, boom. And unlike some of my counterparts or KS, who is popular for telling women that they can't get that, I see men with women I wouldn't date all the time. I said on somebody's post the other day that at least 70% of the NFL are millionaires, and I wouldn't date their wives, right? So I'm not in a position to say because she's not this or she's not that. There was a big thing a month or so ago. There was a big boxing match, and the guy made millions of dollars in boxing, and his wife is a little heavyset. And people are like, oh man, it's like, look, bro, that's what he likes. Like,
That's what he likes.
Who cares? Like, I don't understand why people want to shoot people's preferences or standards down or dreams down in any way. That being said, I noticed what she was saying is what she desired. She didn't say, I have a man that's more handsome than me, that looks better than me, that's more fit than me, that's more successful than me, that does da-da-da-da. This is what she wants, but it's not what she voiced that she has achieved. And maybe she just didn't voice it. Maybe she just worded it that way, but really she does have a man at home that is all of those things. Certainly not impossible. But I guess the question I would pose to that woman, or a woman who voices that, is, number one, what makes you go on a platform and say that to an audience? What is the motivation? Are you trying to discourage any man who isn't those things from ever saying anything to you? Is that what it's about? Are you trying to belittle men who don't meet those things? Do you think that a man who is those things and sees you say that on a platform will find that attractive? And I'm not, I don't have a dog in the fight either way, but I wonder how she views it. At the end, she said she needed an alpha and then a double alpha.
Yeah.
To handle her. Interesting choice of terms.
Interesting choice of terms.
Yeah, I don't subscribe. I think if I ask most men or women to give me an example of what they see as an alpha, that I could disprove the rule to them. I think a lot of times people don't even know what they're saying when they use that term. I'm not saying she doesn't, don't know her personally. She did not take the time to define alpha. But the fact that she said double alpha makes me think that maybe she has glamorized. It makes me think that there's a possibility that her definition might be accurate. But okay, so here is the man. He's, on a scale of attractiveness, he's 1 point higher than you. On a scale of fit, he's 1 point higher than you. His money is stronger than yours. He's more successful than you are. He's more well-read than you are. He's more well-traveled than you are. Why do you think he wants you? Why do you think he would want you? And I'm not saying that he doesn't, but if I do everything better than all the women who are in my circle, they're going to be having to compete for me, right? Because I'm better than I'm better than. And so what is my motivation? Is it the magical fantasy that is sometimes a reality, that he would just look at you and just know you're wonderful, and your intrinsic wonderfulness will make him overlook the fact that he's better than you in every category? Or will he look for you to be better than him in some categories, just not those categories? Maybe you're more spiritual than he is. Maybe you have more patience than he has. But I would imagine that if a man is looking for balance, because sometimes men aren't looking for balance, but if a man is looking for balance and he's looking for his marriage to enhance him and advance him, he might want his lady to have something going in some area that could be of benefit to him. It's like the saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
So if the man always knows everything, it would seem an accessory, a trophy. When you want a trophy, you just want it to look good, and that's it. Who cares about anything? But even in that, then he may, want you to look better than him and be more fit than him. So I don't know, but I would love to ask her and any woman who that resonates with, what do you think would make a man interested in that arrangement?
Yeah, so I'm glad we're talking about this, because I think, again, this is a clip. We didn't hear the whole conversation. Right. And like you said, we don't know her. But what she said did resonate. And I shared, in the previous moment why. But then it's also like, it doesn't have to be one in every single category. Mm-hmm. Like, I dated a guy in a band once, but I was completely fascinated because I don't play instruments. So he's better than me.
Okay.
Now when it comes to putting together events, he was good, but I'm great. So it doesn't, but there was complementary things there. So it doesn't mean he needs to be taller than me, finer than me, fitter than me. It doesn't mean that. It just, there's something sexy about being able to admire someone. Because I guess that's what a puzzle piece is about, right? Sometimes I look at union with somebody being like a puzzle piece. Like, I'm a whole piece, but when you bring another piece together, it's got different colors on it. It's a different shape. There's just more going on. It's different than you. So I think the adoration and the fascination that comes with that, for me, because I like to be great at things, when he's better, it's just a turn on.
Yeah, no, I totally understand why you would want it. Like,
yeah,
who wouldn't want it? Like, what?
SJ said
yeah, that's just like everything, right? That's the dream, right? That's the prototype. Like, right, okay, that's your king. He's more fit, he's more financially, he's more. Yes, I can see why. Certainly, there's no question why any woman would desire that. The question is, why would a man desire that dynamic?
Right. So SJ has the same question I have. So I'll just go ahead and put it on the screen, which is going to be my question for you. Well, what do men want? Because this was a woman expressing herself about what turns us on and what we like. Mm-hmm. We're not the same. So again,
right. But if you want it, like, if I want a job or I want a car, I have to know what I have to do to be able to get it. Mm-hmm. Right. I can't just dream that the Porsche is going to drop out of the sky. I have to find out how much it costs, and I have got to go make enough money to go get it. If I want to be the CEO of Coca-Cola, I can't just say I want it. I have to get out here and qualify for Coca-Cola to want me to. And so, again, I ask myself, and I think it's reasonable for anyone to ask, so what is because to me, that's what will attract it. If I know what type of man the woman I want wants, and I can be that, boom, it's a lock, right? And so I think it works, both ways. I think if a woman knows, because like I see, and I'm not saying celebrities are better than anybody, but I see a lot of celebrity men dating the same women over and over again. Like, Amber Rose has dated 10 rappers, Kim Kardashian has dated however many or whatever the case may be, right?
Yes.
They know something about what men in those men's position want and need and like. That's why they keep getting picked to be in relationships with them. It doesn't last forever, and I'm not saying you should want to be like them, but there's something to it. Know this. I can't imagine that I'm not in their relationship, but that Michelle doesn't bring the president, so he above you and but I bet you that it's clear to him what he values in her and how it's benefiting him as well. And so to say this is what I want, and then say, okay, well, what do men really want? Well, you have to identify with that type of man really wants. I probably don't approach attraction that way. I don't dream about a woman being this or that. I'm just attracted to who I'm attracted to, and I'm not attracted to who I'm not attracted to. How we mesh together. I think how I manage to assess compatibility is in this connection. Does it push me towards being the best that I can be, or is it pushing me in another direction? That's really the indicator right there for me. Like, am I more patient or am I less patient?
Yeah.
Am I more empathetic or am I less empathetic? Do I feel freer to share, or do I feel like I should maybe hold some stuff in and see what happens before I share? Those types of things. But I can't speak for every guy. Some guys are looking for a partner. They want their woman to be as ambitious as they are. They want their woman to be as successful as they are. I've certainly seen, two attorneys date each other, two police officers date each other, two high-ranking executives in different companies choose each other because they feel like they can relate to each other. I've also seen men who are financially super successful choose a woman who has nothing career-wise going on, because that ain't what he wants. He just wants a trophy. Usually when it's that, though, she looks better than him.
I mean, there's that too.
She looks better than him. So if a man is really handsome and he's more fit than you, does that mean he looks a little better than you?
I mean, I guess it's all subjective, right? I think, again, the way I hear things and, the men and women and the way we speak and what we're, this is why these conversations are good, because it's like, so for one, I feel like a woman who thinks like that is not a raggedy woman. She's saying that because of what she knows she's finna present. Now,
she may be, but I will contest that any woman saying that, there are some women who would go right on camera and say something like that, especially after hearing her saying it, right? In fact, that's what you're about to see, right? A bunch of copycat videos. I guarantee you all those women aren't going to have it together.
That's fair. That's fair.
But please continue. I'm sorry.
No. And I get it. How do I say? Like, and this is why the question, and we'll get to that, but it's like, there's something about that too. So the whole alpha male, double alpha male, I don't know what that's about. It doesn't have to be included for me. But it just makes me think that whole, can my man handle me thing? And you do have to be coupled with the right type of person, like your lifestyles and what you believe in and all this and that. But there's just an energy to it. If we're seeing a man, if I hear a man that's like better than me, for like my instincts as a woman, I can trust him. I know he's not going to give up. I know he has certain disciplines. I know he has a level of standard for himself. But
I totally get that. I don't feel
yeah,
like anybody needs you to justify why you're attracted to that. Like I
no,
see
but
that in every
so do
dynamic
I.
of
I
life.
have the same thing.
Okay.
So, because that's what makes it hard sometimes. I've dated, men who are otherwise. Well, I'm like, I'm the one introducing everything, the ideas, the how to make more money, the way things can run, the spiritual ideas, and it just starts to feel very heavy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if there is some balance in that, because I know the level, just that I'm willing to show up as a human. Now, it's a different thing, when you mention somebody like Kim Kardashian. Well, I mean, obviously, she went and got her law stuff and did all that. So she's not a woman that sits at home either, and whatever else she's got going on, besides the media portraying whatever, and her ending up with all these men. What men want, it does matter. And there are a lot of guys who have a lot of money and say they don't care if the girl works at Whataburger. If they vibe, they like her, she's cute, they'll pick her up out of there and upgrade her. It's cool. So it's just different. It's so to make it the same, like, oh, if a guy is better than you at everything, why would he want you? Well, he could want a completely separate set of things. I just know, let me go to the chat really quick. SJ said different things are acceptable from women that aren't necessarily acceptable from men when it pertains to the elements she listed. Men are providers and protectors.
Again, I don't disagree. I experienced the dynamic, my entire life. If you, in elementary school, if you're one of the most athletic people in the gym class, the girls pay attention to that. I have worked with high-powered lawyer. He manhandled other lawyers in court. All the other women lawyers in the courtroom, they were like patting him on the butt, chasing him out the door. They loved him. I worked in marketing, shot to the top of the company. What? I could, when I attended the conventions and the meetings and I had to take pictures with everybody. I could barely get in or get out. So I 1,000% understand the attraction. It doesn't even have to be intentional or deliberate. It's just, it is, it is
There's
what
a character
it is.
to it, I feel
It
like.
really just, it is what it is. But I don't want women who desire that to do themselves a disservice by just imagining that it will just only be magical, that he will just lay eyes on you, and to him, you will be more attractive than any other woman on the planet, and he's hoping you work for Whataburger. I think if you want to attract something, I think you have to be somewhat intentional about it. And so even if you haven't figured it out, if you're spending all your time thinking about how you want the man to be better than you, and you aren't spending any of your time thinking about how you could be valuable to him, you may be doing yourself and him a disservice. Even if you're just imagining, you should just be considering ways where you could be really great to him. You should want to be great to him if he's going to be all these great things.
Like I hope that would come first, right?
I would hope, but I just never see women talk about that. Or when women talk about it, maybe it doesn't go viral. I won't say that I never see it.
Yeah, it really doesn't, because listen, you already know, okay? Like, if I would have titled this video, "The Truth About Steve Harvey's Wife Cheating," there'd be 1,000 people in this.
Right, of course.
This propensity towards negativity these days, I don't know. But and then sometimes I realize that I'm different, or I might hang around different women, this and that. But again, with this being a clip, we didn't hear the whole thing, but the type of woman I am and the women that I'm around, all of that comes first. We don't say or desire or ask these things without fully knowing how we are ready, willing, and able to completely facilitate. And that's kind of the exciting part. So for guys that don't hear it, when you're a woman who really knows yourself, you know your strengths, and the same for a man, I'm sure, you know what, you know how that puzzle piece could possibly fit. And then there's all the other things, right? Personality and standards and values and compatibility and all these things. But at the end of the day, I feel like most of these asks or desires or things being said are being said because of the ability for a very well-rounded reciprocation, like hands down. Like, what? You
So
know
I've
what I'm
said
saying?
this before. I think women have a unrealistic generalization of women. That there's just this assumption
I think
that
I've
women
learned
don't
that.
cheat. That if a woman won't high caliber, she's high caliber too. And it just always balanced with the world, with all the women in the world. Certainly some, maybe even most, but a significant percentage of the population, that can't be true. Just like all men don't have it all together, all women don't have it all together.
Do you know
And
I learned that?
It's more normalized for a woman to practice hypergamy. So a lot of women don't think they have to be, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, what, you need to have as much money as the guy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to be thinking about, usually if a guy is really successful, he's busy, and so there are other components that he may value that have nothing to do with being ambitious and successful in your career. So that's certainly not what I'm spelling out. I'm not saying that men and women have the exact same needs or anything like that, but I think that, like I said, women who attract millionaires over and over and over again, that the first time they interacted with a millionaire man, they noticed some things and they began to absorb and take notes. I don't think it's a coincidence. I really don't. I think that there are women who are just as beautiful as Amber Rose at every rap concert. There's a reason why 10 rappers engaged in a relationship with her, and some even had a child with her. I think that there's some things that she learned from dating Kanye that she applies, that she realizes that men who are moving like this in that space, that she has a better understanding than the average woman. And that's why she keeps attracting that over and over again. And so I just, I suspect that Michelle understood some things. When they talk about that courtship, he was arguing against marriage their whole courtship until he gave her a ring. That was like their standard once a month debate, where he's saying marriage ain't necessary and she's saying it is. Mm-hmm. Right? And so most women that I know would say, what? We would stop dating. If that's what he was saying, he's not being intentional. He doesn't. Michelle understood something, right? And apparently she was confident that no matter what he was saying in these little debates, that she knew who she was, yeah, and that ring was coming. Yeah. Right? And so, that's all I'm saying is I don't think it's a coincidence, and I don't think all women have that part of it down pat, which is why you have so many popular posts and videos of women saying they want these things, but it's not out here. Because that's mostly, what's being said is, hey, I want these things, where is it at? Because men aren't stepping up, and men aren't dissing anymore, and men aren't providers anymore, and they aren't these things anymore, and women are going to school more or whatever. So the complaint, or usually the narrative that I see, is that there is a shortage. And so if there is a shortage, just naturally or organically, there's a level of competition because everybody can't get it. If you if you play musical chairs, everybody can't sit down. If you want to go to the NBA, hey, everybody that wants, that's not how it's gonna go. But it's so funny to me because I've met women who said this is how it's gonna go. They didn't just say I want it. They said I'm gonna get this type of dude, and I don't know what they figured out, but the women who were really intent and adamant of that and never swayed for it, they got it. That's what they're going to do right now. Yeah. So I do believe that there's some level of intentionality. And so I'm just encouraging that. I'm not saying woman, you don't have it, so you can't be expected. I'm saying, hey, prepare for it. Act like he's coming. He's on his way to you, right? And be prepared to be something delightful and extraordinary for him in some area, whatever that area, whatever your talent, whatever
that area may be,
whatever that area may be.
Yeah, no, I understand. And then there's levels to it, right? Because not everyone wants the celebrity, and the guy doesn't even have to be a multimillionaire. It's not always about that. There's just an energy to it. And I think, we're saying the same thing of two different sides of the coin. Because I think of guys that I've dated and, things didn't work out. Obviously, I'm single now, but I still think about the majority. Well, I can't say the majority because I always get so moted when I talk to you. You're like, what girls do you like? This ain't the majority. So I have to.
No, I mean, I get it because you're hanging with people who are like you. So I see why, immediately what's around you, that's what it looks like. But I'm just telling you that outside of that, it doesn't all look like that. But you guys are probably birds of a feather who flock together. A lot of people maintain life friendships with somebody they went to college with, which means to some degree they were on the same trajectory, or people that they worked with early on and things of that nature. So it totally makes sense that that's what you're immediately surrounded with. But
I mean, not just immediately, because you got to remember, I interview people for a living. So I feel like at this point, I've talked to thousands of people. So it's people that I just doing a lot of women's retreats, there'd be, 20 different women in a room at a time. And I'm hearing the same thing. So it's definitely more than my 5 closies, but it's just, why do so many women, why does it sound like this if it's not a thing, So all it really means to me is there's good women and there's good men out there. And we always talk about it. Sometimes we're just not meeting for whatever reasons, but, and sometimes they are, and it's just not working out. But I definitely think that when you know the qualities that you like about somebody, same for the men too, it could work. Like, I think a lot of women are saying but you really don't have to be a multimillionaire. You don't have to be a celebrity. Not everybody is really like, if my man don't make $100,000, I hate that that's the internet, but that is not the majority. If you're a certain type of dude and you see these things, like, there's a guy, does he know? No, I told him we don't date, but I told him he motivates me. And I've been getting up earlier because he is up every day at 4. I see it. I'm like, dang, it could be done. And I'm like, let me try. And he's better than me at that, because if I don't work that discipline, my sleeping schedule will look like something that is probably undesirable to a lot of people. Okay. So when I think of somebody that's a turn on for me, that's like, okay, because he could keep me in line a little bit. Like, doesn't mean that I don't have all these, no. And I don't think he's making $1 million or this or that, but there's just qualities that I feel like we can complement and work with and did it. And I'm not saying he's the guy, but it's just an example of something that it's like, oh, okay, like, it makes me better. And I love that. I need it. And I know all the reasons why, but I'm hoping that, we can expand our minds a little bit and not let the media wash us so much, because, the guy in the band, the tech guy, the entrepreneur, it's like, I've dated all these guys that are not Amber Rose, this millionaire rapper, that. And it's like, they were fine. They had amazing things to offer, and they were exciting, and it was like cool and whatever it was in the moment. And that was enough.
Right.
It's suficiente. Like,
right.
It didn't need to be crazy. It was who they were and what they had already cultivated, which is, I don't know what, as far as proximity, I lived in Hollywood and I did all that. There's a portion of people who are just brainwashed into believing that that's what they like. And then there's these people that also intentionally cycle women. Like, they know what they're doing. It's like a discussion, like a roundtable discussion, like, you next type of a deal. So we have to keep some of that in mind. And then there's these girls that know how to move, especially with the proximity. If you dated a millionaire, you done picked up some things that somebody who's never done that has, so there's just so many things. But I don't know why my little thing isn't here, and I don't know everything, but this is why I focus on individual growth, because I feel like the better you can get at just being yourself, you're going to have the beautiful things to offer whoever, when you get with somebody like the way you're talking about. If we vibe and it's cool and whatever, then we're good. And that's it. And that's enough, because it is enough.
And, you know, again, I make points for discussion, but I totally get it. I have always, my entire life, aspired to be the type of man who my woman admires me.
Yes.
For multiple
Yes.
reasons.
Isn't that sexy for you?
I mean, I, you know, I might be wrong, but I think if that's not the case, we're doomed. Right?
Yeah.
She's gonna run off with somebody she does admire. So I need to, you know, I believe in reinventing myself. I believe in constant, you know, improvement. And so, you know, I'm not lost on the dynamic at all.
Yeah.
You know, I want my son, I aspire to be a man that my son admires. I aspire to be a man that my nieces admire.
Yes.
I aspire to be a man that my father and my mother admire. I aspire to be the type of grandson that my grandmother
Absolutely
admired. And so, again, you know, definitely get it. Definitely find spaces that I can perform at the highest level, not to get women, but, you know, I do understand that comes along with it by default. And it makes life easier.
Yes.
It makes dating easier. I don't even say it's making relationship easier, but it definitely makes dating and access, you know, a lot easier. And so, you know, I think that, you know, I don't think it would hurt for men to not get offended when they hear women say things like that. Yeah. And I don't think it would hurt men to aspire to be someone that could be admired in space. It doesn't have to necessarily be you know, Jay-Z is less fit than Beyonce, but clearly,
but he's
you know, there's the things that she admires about him. It's just not that thing. And so, you know, it reminds me of the movie was it Something Different or something else? Something New. Sanaa? Something New, right. The guy was a landscaper, right? Yes. So in her mind, she envisioned that only one way and didn't value it. And then as she got to know him and got to know more about him, she saw ways to admire him. I don't even want to use the word better or whatever, but she definitely saw things that she admired that she didn't even know existed or didn't know that she even would admire if put in that situation. And so, you know, to your point about it doesn't have to necessarily be this particular thing or that particular thing. You talked about dating an artist. I've always had a soft spot for artists. I admire them having the talent to turn the things that they see, the things that they hear, the things that they've experienced into an art form, whether that's music or painting or sculpture or poetry or spoken word. I definitely admire the ability to be a creative and an artist. My niece just out the blue was like, Uncle Yatu, I think you need to be creative. It's like, okay. I'm not against that. I hear you. Okay.
How old is she?
She's just turned 24.
Aww. Yeah. Smart. She sees something.
Yeah. I mean, hey, from the mouth, not babes, because she's not a babe anymore or whatever. But, you know, she's not my mentor, but when she's talking, I listen.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 1,000%. I, you know, will take anything she says to me in serious consideration. One, super bright. Two, traveled the world, has had more experience than the average 24-year-old. And three, she loves me. She's trying to send me off in no type of way. Favorite Uncle Yatu.
Yeah, I can tell just by that one statement. She's like, look, she's trying to help you figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. She's like, she wants me to be as happy as humanly possible. And so, yeah, you know, we have to. Men have to not make themselves depressed and stressed out, feeling like they have to achieve a certain level, but certainly aspire. To be great at something and or really good at some things. It will help you in all aspects of your life. I would encourage anybody to approach life that way. The life
Anybody, right? Because
yeah,
that's what I was
so
gonna
much
say
to offer.
too.
Yeah.
It's whoever you are, what you're about. Like you said, the guy was a landscaper, then he, had all these other things. It's definitely more about who you are and what you do well. It's not just cars, money, six pack. Like there's so many more colors than blue, red, and white. Like,
Absolutely.
there's green, there's purple. You can mix red and blue, and like we could just go on and on. So it's like, that's why I thought it was a good idea to kind of talk about this, maybe to expound on the idea a little bit, because I know the language can be a little bit triggering, but it doesn't have to be that, because it's not just cut and dry. Like, I get what she's saying, all double off of this, but when somebody's like, oh, I think the same thing. Like, I want somebody that can handle me, and I don't mean because I'm about to be running around here like a freaking toddler and a Tasmanian devil, and I hope he can just deal with it. I'm talking about my level of excitement, my willingness to grow, my fight to be better, my the way there's all these other things about me where it's just like, I hope he can handle that. Like, I'm not going to be for everybody. It's going to be what makes sense to somebody who's like, I'm with that. So SJ says, it seems as though she must meet some basic criteria or be of a certain caliber to even be voicing that her man must have more exceptional qualities to keep her attention. That's what I gathered as well.
So yeah, I see women seeing it that way. I see it is that if she had that basic criteria, she would be telling us, my man is more fit than me. My man is this, my man is that. The results tell a different story.
Listen, I really can't argue with that. That's especially why I don't, some people be like, you're a dating coach. I'm like, I'm not. My single ass is definitely not a dating coach. There's no proof in that pudding for me to share. I just know how to do the work towards being a whole human. That I can give you. The rest, we ain't doing that.
1,000%.
And I'm cool with that.
I don't. Yeah, I think some women who will say that will be qualified, and some women who will say that not so much. I don't remember exactly what that woman looked like. I didn't think to myself, ooh, she's unattractive.
Yeah, I thought she was beautiful.
I didn't find her, I wasn't attracted to her.
Yeah, I get it.
But again, I don't try to say what people's standards should be, like I said, based on that, because what I find attractive is obviously not what every other man finds attractive, and vice versa. So who knows? Who knows? But I don't think just because a person has the demand that means is an indicator that they're qualified per se.
Oh,
I think sometimes people who demand are not qualified, and I think sometimes people who are qualified are not. I see men too on social media all the time. I see people make posts, and I would never say this under their posts, but I do sometimes think, are you qualified to be posting this?
I'd be thinking the same thing. Like, y'all, you're really saying some things, and
like, and men and women.
Sometimes, yeah,
men and women. I see both. Like,
yeah,
like, you can't crack that joke. You can't. Are you sure? I'm just like, oh, okay. All right.
Like, you wouldn't know what to do with that if you had it. You just, it's fine. It's just fine. Whatever. Aren't we all single here? Yeah. Are you still single in Nyatu?
No.
You didn't tell us.
I didn't. You know what? I've been voicing it on so many shows that I don't remember where I have said it and where I haven't said it. And I don't like to, because I talk about relationships, and that probably needs to be the focus more so than what my relationship status is. I don't voluntarily get into that, but no.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
But yes, SJ, it's just us, girl.
Yeah, I didn't take these trips by myself this summer.
Oh, I love it.
Romance was in the air all summer.
Good. I love that. Well, that's exciting, and we won't pick at you for it, but that's good. I love to hear it.
Absolutely. But yeah, I want to be the best I can be for my woman. I definitely want her to be able to admire me. I definitely want to be able to, I can become impatient and hard on myself. Just wanting to keep it going. Always be, because somebody can impress you in an area and you'll be impressed for that first year. It's like sometimes when older people choose to date younger people. And I was about to say guys, but now sometimes women are doing it a lot too. But it's like, okay, if you just get in your apartment and just get in your first car and I'm on my 10th and I own my house or whatever, you're going to be more impressed by those things than a woman that guy's age who has all of that stuff too. Oh, yeah, okay, you got a BMW, I got a Benz. You own your house, I own my house. You just came back from such and such. Yeah, I just came back from such and such. So it's like more of an expectation or a standard. Whereas, Jay-Z said in the rap, the young girl, she was happy if he's buying her Reeboks, right?
Right.
So, that sort of thing. And so, but, that older guy will be impressing her until she gets a little older and a little established in her career and she gets all the things. And that's like, man, you ain't got no new tricks. She's going to find somebody else. And
Cold world.
Yeah. Not just for my woman, but yeah, when I'm in love, I'm inspired to want to be the best I can be for my woman too. That's like a little extra fire. I think I have a lot of fire already, but it's definitely extra fire. Yeah, I want to impress my lady. 1,000%.
We love it. That's all we saying. We freaking love it. Like it, it gets us going. It's provocative. Okay. Florida says relationships can be tough as you get older because everyone has gone through some life-altering experiences.
No lies told.
Yeah. And I try to, it's like there's realities and then there's like mantras that I don't want to believe and repeat to keep, cycling through. It's like some of that, but I feel like some life experience can be a good thing too, because you do know better and you have learned more about yourself and you have grown and I encourage everyone to put effort towards healing because it's not just a buzzword. There's a lot going on, but if you put towards the effort, there can also be, beauty in healing and growing with someone. I mean, that's what I think about too. We're never going to be this 100% perfect thing because like you said, we've been through life altering things, but if y'all are both about that life, like imagine the language, the conversations, the holding space that could be possible. And that makes it beautiful too. Like just like it did before anything had ever happened. So I see there's a lot of upsides to it too, but it can also be tough. So
yeah, I've met a lot of really, no exaggeration, great women. Whether we were supposed to be together or not, they still were like amazing in so many categories. Like really exceptional women, but who struggled in the relationship space. And I don't mean struggle like to get a man or whatever, but I've had more than 2 handfuls of women tell me that when things are going really good, it gives them anxiety. That when they would describe healthy dynamics, it was giving them some level of discomfort. But anybody on the outside looking in, somebody who works with them, or a woman who they're just their friend and not having to date them and or be in a relationship with them, or even if they're just single, it didn't get exposed until they get to a certain point in a relationship where it brings that thing out of them. And so, I think a lot of times we think that we're 100% ready. But I say to people that when you meet your person, you're immediately going to need to improve probably. Not because they're saying that, but just because you don't get exposed to certain things about yourself until you really get, with that person you're supposed to get with at that time.
Yeah, so those practices gotta be in play before you get there. They don't have to be right. I would never expect that I'm 100% ready for it. It's just I don't think that that's possible, and not because, you know, of any other reason, but I'm human. Like, we're all flawed. That's not changing because, you know, I do some work. It's just not. But, you know, it's kind of something I can see where some things like mismatch and don't work if, how do I say? I enter relationships with the expectation that there's going to be some like, we're going to have to figure out how to do this. There's going to be some of this because we're both new to each other.
Right.
So my only requirement is somebody that does the work. So that's you before we even meet.
Right.
We got to at least be able to communicate, figure out how to hold space and have grace. And I don't think there's anything wrong with filling in places. Like, you know, I dated this one guy and I could tell, you know, certain levels of emotion or certain words or I could tell what made him feel a way because I'm just keen to, like, you know, so to navigate around that or to say things in a certain kind of way because I understand how his brain works. So let me package it like this. I'm not even gonna, you know, or whatever it needs to be. I don't mind doing that so we can, you know, but everybody has to come to the table with that same energy and then know how to go back and be like, I was a little triggered. I know I said that and I understand and I'm working on it. So, like, you got to put it on the table so the other person even knows what to freaking do with it. Like, just communicate and work and try. It's not, I don't think anybody's like, I'm 100%. And like, please. I don't, if anybody telling me that, I'm like, like the brother said, men and women who have their own stuff, no one is going to take any BS from no one. We all have adjusted to being by ourselves. Whew.
Yeah, I know I'm not perfect, and so I can't expect that the woman I'm going to be with is going to be perfect. You know, I have to be able to give grace. She will have to be able to give grace. I do appreciate a partner who can listen, can at least consider what's being said, mull it over a little bit maybe, and if need be, you know, make an adjustment, take an accountability for something, apologize for something, change a behavior. And so, yeah, I think that people who really take a hard stance of, you know, I ain't taking nothing off of nobody, you know, maybe unconsciously expecting perfection, which, you know, will never be realized. And so I like to see as many people be able to have companionship in a healthy and happy way if they desire it as possible. And so, you know, we just have to, you know, we really have to embrace, because people say I'm not perfect, but the way that they make choices and the way that they make statements tells a different story. And so, yeah, people have to be open. So to that gentleman, you know, there are some people who, even though they're older and have been through some things, who are willing to show some grace, don't expect perfection, and can be a great partner to the right person.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, in coaching, what I've learned is, you know, a lot of the times the way people, you know, treat you, or it's just, it's such a big indicator in a window into how they treat themselves and then other stuff down the line. But that's a whole nother conversation. But I digress. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. So I loved having this conversation. This was fun.
Absolutely. Ladies, want what you want. I hope nothing that I said was discouraging that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Want what you want. It makes total sense to me that you would be more attracted to a man that you admire for various reasons. So again, I support that movement 100%. Fellas, even though the topic this time wasn't about that for you, want what you want. Like, I've been working out. I'm down 30 pounds, and there are some women who are like, don't get too little, because they don't want a super fit dude. Not that I'm operating off of what they're saying or whatever, but I'm just,
you can't win with everybody.
Yeah, I'm just acknowledging that, you know, everybody wants something different. So that supermodel that you may be dreaming about may want a guy with a belly. Want what you want, believe in yourself. You don't have to make somebody feel like ish for you to be the ish. So you can up yourself here and not, belittle anybody else. But, I think people should dream. I think they should want what they want, career-wise, relationship-wise, and anything else-wise.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Our comment here says a lot of women are impatient at times to allow the man to grow to like them, to love them.
And yeah, he left the and out. It's funny he said that. I was having a conversation like that
It's true.
earlier today, that there are many lost art forms out here. And so maybe we'll find a video that allows us to address that on Black Love Lens. But I think that is a great point. And so I am going to be on the lookout for a video that we can react to where we could address that. Because I do think that dating and pursuing and courting, those words for some people have been combined. And courting actually means to pursue a person to show them that you're the right person for them to marry.
Yeah.
And so that's probably not how it's supposed to go right from the beginning. He's probably supposed to date you some first before courting. But I think that has been juxtaposed, and sometimes people are mixing it up. And I have seen women say, if you inbox me, you're supposed to offer to shovel my snow and ask me out on a date. And it's like, well, how did the inbox go? Did you pay him a compliment? Did you say anything that would make him think that you were remotely interested in him? Because that matters too, So if a man feels like you're not really liking him like that, why would he go any further? Don't double down on the mistake. He inboxed you. He thought it might be something there. He didn't get any energy from you that made him think that there was something there. And so why should he
perform?
Yeah. So we'll talk about, I promise you.
Yeah, we should probably talk about it because, FL Porter, sex for men is not, we are in a relationship in the first 2 months. Y'all, okay. Yeah, we should probably
keep tuning in. I assure you.
We have some things to talk about.
The next few episodes, we will get into it.
Yeah, we're going to have to get into that one. We'll figure that one out. Be you for you. Well, I loved it. And yeah, you guys, keep working on yourself. I mean, you don't have to be in this awkward, perpetual state of healing, but grow, examine things. Anytime I'm feeling a way, I examine it. I do journal. I go to the park. All of these things. See, we gonna have to have this conversation another day so we can get into it. But love yourself first.
Definitely.
Love yourself first. The rest will follow, and keep killing it out there, guys. You can find me at sassymethod.com if you would like to book a consultation. If you're about personal development, self-mastery, self-love, growth, you want to evolve, you want to see different things, you want to break habits and patterns, I'm the woman you get with, sassymethod.com.
Absolutely. And you can find me at thehitchagency.com. Again, tremendous information and resources as far as dating and relationship, couples counseling, premarital and marriage. And Nyatu Marvel is Hitch on Instagram, and just Nyatu Marvel on Facebook are ways to get in tune with the content that I put out so that you can see what I'm all about and learn more about the person you're listening to on Black Love Lens, usually on Wednesday nights. But today we are knocking it down on a terrific Tuesday so that Jamie Alexander can love on herself tomorrow. I'm jealous. I have to do the one of my business partners has been telling me about what is it, the sonic
a sound bath?
Sound bath. That's what it is. One of my business partners has been like, Nyatu, you got it. And so I got it. I'm putting that on my agenda for September. Before September is over, I'm going to tell you I was at a sonic bath and how much I enjoyed it.
Please share it with us. It's a very, you guys, we're water. So when you look at the way the elements work and you play certain sounds, and that's what they say, rap music, rock music, all this stuff, is affecting us differently, and we can go really deep into it and thinking about what communities get what music and all this and that because it changed you. There's also beautiful sounds that alchemize your physical body, and it's just something that I need in my life. Yep, I see y'all in here. We gonna get to it. Get you a sound bath. I'm gonna get mine, and y'all know the drill. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Awesome. Have a great night and a great week.
Great night and a great week, y'all.